Hello, Tamara here. Nice of you to join me, and a very warm welcome to my channel. It's lovely to have you here with me today. And in today's video, we're on the last 2 pages of our album one for the wardrobe and albums tutorial projects that we've been doing recently. And if you've been following along, you would have hopefully have got your pages done. So we are now on to the surprised file page, and it's this one here. So when I say surprised file, you open the page up and then you can flip out your 2 photo mats here. So you can embellish obviously the top, but this is a nice, simple, very flat page, which works well then with the rest of the book. So please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like and comment something down below in the description box. It really does help an awful lot if you do subscribe. It really helps get my channel noticed, and it means that I can still keep doing these tutorials for free. So please do just subscribe and hit that notification bell as well. So there is a lot of scoring to do on this page. So what I'll do is I'm just going to bring in my scoreboard, or my trimmer stroke scoreboard, and the pieces that we'll need. Now we will need the other page base that we've done. We did that back in, I think, part 2. So first of all, what you need to do with your 2 A4 sheets of card, I'll just stick that one over there. You need to put, that was the one I wanted, a line of double-sided tape along one of the short edges. Now this is the 1/4 inch, or just over 1/4 inch. I think it's 3/8 of an inch wide score tape, and I'm just going to add a bead of glue just along that as well, just to help keep it stuck. So I'm just going to just one bead along there. I have got the double-sided tape on there. It's more for a guide than anything else. So you're going to stick your 2 A4 sheets together, and I'm just going to use that edge of the tape as a guide and just bring that along. Don't worry, this is not going to be seen, so don't worry too much if you get glue seepage come out. So now you've got 2 pieces of card stuck together. Okay, so once you've got your 2 pieces of cardstock glued together, we need to cut this down to 14 inches. Now we need to do this in 2 parts. Because this is too big to go in here, we need to do our score line. So turning it round so that you've got your join to the right, if you trim like me with your trimmer upright. If you trim with your trimmer facing onwards, you need to then have your join facing to the bottom. So we're going to just score this at 2 inches. Bring that up, score at 2. Now we need to fold that score line over, and what that's going to do is that's going to hide that we've joined 2 pieces of card together, because you're not going to see this because it's going to be at the back. So score that over. Now what we can do is score this next piece. So keep that score line folded over, and we're going to score this at 6 5/8. Like so. Make sure it's nice and straight. So score that at 6 5/8, and then just fold that over as well. So next what we need to do is with this out, folded out, we need now to cut this side, and this side needs to be at 8 inches. Okay, so we need to cut this down to 8. Like so. Discard that. And now we need to cut the sides. So with the bigger flap folded over and then the shorter flap folded outwards, you need to cut down to 5/8 of an inch. Okay, so let's me find my 5/8. Now when I say cut down, we're only going to cut to this score line here. So if I just put a mark there just to show you, can you see that's my score line? So I'm only going to cut up to that score line. So this is going to be 5/8. Cut up to that score line, don't go any further. Turn it over and do the same thing. Cut again at 5/8 and cut only from that score line. Like so, cut down. So then you should end up with something that looks a little bit like this. Okay, so you've got two bits here. So cut these off, but we need to cut them off at an angle. So where you've cut to, just cut at an angle. And then you can cut the top bits to an angle as well, so the top corners at an angle. So you're left with like a tab type shape. Put it back on your trimmer and just line up where you've cut that 5/8 of an inch line off, and we're going to just score that tab to make it into a tab. Do the same thing on the other side. Just line it up and then score it out. Okay, and then you've ended up with some glue tabs there, and then they're going to fit around the back of our folder like so to create that little pocket. Now if you've ended up with it not fitting quite snugly and it's really hard to get those glue tabs folded over, just mark where the top of your pocket is with a pencil, and we're just going to cut off the smidgenest of smidges of cardstock just up to that line on both sides. Okay, so I've cut off, you can see there how much I've cut off. It's just the smidgen of smidges. Come again down here and then cut down again all the way to that glue tab mark, and then when you fold these over, it then starts to sit flush because you've taken off that tiny bit of card. It's just taking it off, but then you've still got all of this, so it's still the same width at the top but just not at the bottom. I'm not going to stick the pocket down just yet because we want to add the file part of the file folder system. But first of all, I need to cover the right hand side with our patterned paper, because now we need to bring in our other piece of black cardstock, and we're going to make this. Now this is the file that is going to fit into our folder. So bring in your other piece. Now this has to be done and scored in a certain way for it to work. The amount of cardstock I went through because I didn't score it correctly the first time. So for this one we need to cut this down to 11.5. Oh, I always end up, this is the first time this year I've ended up with a creature on my work surface. I don't know if you can see that little tiny money spider. I want to just get it, come on here so that I can get you off. It's a little tiny one. They're coming out now, so I'm going to just put him somewhere safe, so I'm not going to move him. There we go. So sorry about that if you do not like spiders. I don't like to kill them, but going on, I think I did a video once where I had a fly across the camera. I've had one where I've had moths, and then another one where from somewhere, I don't know where, I had a little millipede fall from somewhere and land on my desk. So I don't even know where that came from. So that's my creature for this year on my videos. So let's then cut off. So get back to crafting. So I've cut this down to 11.5, and then we need to cut this long ways at 6 3/4. Okay, so that gives me my nice size that we need. So first of all, we need to score at 4 3/4. So score it at 4 3/4. Okay, fold and crease that score line. And now, has he gone? Yes, he's disappeared, so I can use my bone folder now. So crease that score line, and then with that folded over, we're going to score at 3/4 of an inch. Okay, so get your 3/4 of an inch, like so. Score that over, and then crease that down. And then you should end up with something that looks a little bit like that. So what we need to do is we need to now turn it 180 degrees so that we've got the longest side facing onto the right, and we're going to score that at 1/2 inch. Okay, like so. Score that at 1/2 inch. Fold that over, and then you should end up with something like that. So you've got a 1/2 inch score line on the right with a long piece, a 3/4 inch gusset, and then a short edge this side. So for the folder itself, it's going to actually go this way into our books. So you'll need 2 of these are for the top file, so the top page here needs to be 5 1/4 by 6 5/8, and you'll need 2 of those. So that's this one, and then the one inside is this one here. Okay, so then for the actual file itself, you'll need 3 of the 4 5/8 by 6 5/8. So I've got 1, 2, and I'm going to pattern piece some of mine. So I've got two different set measurements here, but you would need 3 unless you were pattern piecing. And then for the actual pocket here, you'll need one that's 1 7/8 by 6 5/8. Okay, so that's those there. So we're going to work on the folder itself first. Now you will need some more pattern paper, but I will come to that once we've put this all together. So for the outside, I can either have that side, because that's really nice actually. I think I might have that, and then with this as the pocket, it's going to set it off. So I'm going to have that. Now I'm going to, if you want to, round your corners. Now I'm going to just round the file folder flap. So we need to then obviously round the corners of your pattern paper, but as I've only done 2, just round 2 of them. Bring in the distress. Now you could distress all of these beforehand, which I probably should have done, like so. Okay, let's stick this on. Turn it open, then I can see what I'm doing. Like so. And we can just do the inside one. So the inside, you'll need to round at these corners. So on the right hand side, go like that. Yeah, push that up. Okay. So we don't need to worry about this part here because this is not going to be seen. So this is where we bring in our file now, because we need to think, this needs to go onto our sheet on here so that we can fold it all down. Your sticky tape, double-sided tape onto, oop, fell off. Okay, so the sticky side goes onto the mountain side fold of your glue tab. Does anybody else get stuck to their tape just randomly? Right, so put your glue on as well as your sticky side tape. Now this is going to get folded over, so I'm going to do it this way. So I've got the valley fold side facing me, and then this is going to go right up to where your scored edge is, okay, of your top flap. Okay, so try and get it as near to that as you can. I'm sorry if you can't see. There, just moving that down so that is in place. There we are. Fold that down so that when that's stuck in, that is going to open up. Now what I did forget to do was round the corners of this file here, but if you want to do it, you can do that now. So I'm just going to burnish this tab down. Let's round them. Like so. Yeah, that's fine. So now we can go ahead and stick the pocket down. So again, I'm just going to put some glue on here, just for quickness. Glue on here. Fold that over. Fold that over. And as you can see, here's the join, and it's not going to be seen because it is at the back. So then once we close that, once you open it and close it a few times, it will work. Then pull that out. You've then got your surprised folder file coming out. And now again, what I've forgotten to do, as per usual, tomorrow you are terrible. I forgot to put my magnets on. So what I can do with this is I'm gonna maybe just put something different there. So we could use one of these and just put that on there. I think that's what we'll do. So we'll add that onto there, and then I can put my magnet underneath. We're just going to add the glue inside, okay, on the top and the bottom. Put your magnet in and then shut it over, so push it over like so. Okay, then get your page, and I'm just going to put a bit of glue on that side, on there. And then put that into place. So I've just by-eyed it where I think the middle is. But again, if you like to be more precise, then you could measure it. Okay, so that goes on like that. And then this can go then on this side with some foundation tape over the top. So I'm going to have it like so. Push that over, and then that's stuck on like so. So then I've got my magnet. You will need a 5/8 of an inch circle punch, punched out of pattern paper to go onto the top of your magnet holder. Let's go with Oh, that's nice. Look at that. Oop. And that's going to fit onto the front of that. Just ink those edges. Put that on. And then that's not impeding on any of the workings out, which is good. So that was another happy accident, I think. So we can just then put this part on here, so the pocket part, which is mine here, and just ink them edges. Put that on. Now, I'm not going to cover this just yet because I do want to say or do something different in this book. Now, sorry, let me bring this book in and I'll show you what I mean. Pull that out the way. So, in this book, with this flap, the surprise folder, I've actually left the top part as a pocket. So if you wanted to put a little sneaky something in there, you could do. But what I thought would be another good thing would be to have this pocket as an actual flap so that it flaps over. Now the only thing with that is that you will need to cover this part, and you would then need to cover the part, your base page as well. But I just thought that would be a really different idea, just to make it a little bit different from that book. So if you've got some scrap cardstock, which I know we've got loads of because I saved it, so for that we would need like a construction hinge. Now that would need to be 6 3/4. I think no, it would need to be the same size of this. So if this is 6 3/4, yes, so 6 3/4 by 1 inch. Okay, and then we're going to score it at half and score it over. Now you may need to make a bigger one, but no, I think that's possibly about right. That'd be fine. Okay, so move that over there. Bring in your bone folder just so that you can really crease this score line down, because we want it to sit as flat as possible. Okay, I've done it that much, I've bent it, but don't worry, we can sort that out. So that my construction strip is nice and creased. So add in your tape. Now your tape needs to go on the outside edges. So it goes onto the mountain side fold of your hinge strip or construction hinge strip. So like so on both sides. I am going to add a bit of glue on here as well. And I'm trialing some new glue. I don't know if I said in the previous video. This is Sticks 2. It sticks to anything, it's called. Hobby and Craft pH neutral 3D PVA. And it's fantastic. I have to say, I am really, really impressed with it. It sticks really fast as well, so it is a really good glue. I would recommend it. So, I'm on the back now of our surprise file folder. So, I'm going to put my scored edge to scored edge. Okay, so I'm going to go here, like so. Okay. Push it down. That's it. Now another use that you could use is Tyvek. Instead of using your cardstock, you could use Tyvek, and that wouldn't be as bulky. So that's another use that you could use. So bring in my base page, and it's going to go like so. So my base page is here, and I'm going to put it as central because this is slightly smaller than the page. Now I made it slightly smaller going this way because I didn't want it to get stuck here on my hinge. So I've made it just that slightly little bit smaller. So take the double-sided tape off and put your glue on. And then line it up with the bottom corner. And then when that bottom corner is in the correct position, just then ease that page down. And then just check to make sure that you're level, and wipe away any of the glue seepage that might be coming out, and then just burnish down. Okay, so push that down like that, and then when that, then I think I've put that on the wrong side, haven't I? Yes, I have. Oh, quick, turn that off. Oh, that was lucky. Right, actually needs to go onto our page with the two edges facing, the two open ends facing either side, a bit like if you had one of those hand warmers. So let's just put some more glue on here. Don't worry so much about that because that will be covered up. I'll turn it over that way, and then that will get covered up with the pattern paper. There we go. And then that can then go into our album like so. I am going to let it dry first before I start to fiddle around with it. Poke and prod, and then that goes on like that. And then we've got an extra flap here that we can then put some other. You can put some photographs in there or something like that. But what I will do is I will add a sneaky cheeky little magnet. So that's going to go in there. So if you do this, remember I haven't got the measurements in on the PDF for this. So these would just be, we just measure them quickly. These would be 6 5/8, I think, by 6 5/8. And then this would be the same, 6 5/8 by 6 5/8. Let me just double check because that's obviously come up. So this would be 6 and, well, mine would be 6 3/4. No, 6 3/8, because obviously I've come up a little bit on here. So just measure yours just to make sure that they're okay. Okay, I've had a bit of a dilemma with my page. What I'd actually done first of all was put a photo mat on here, and when I come to close it, it kept getting stuck. So I took that off, and I've had to redo the whole page. These things happen with me quite a lot. So what I thought I'd do is I'm going to just put some little journaling pieces onto that page like that, but then stick them down, because then that way it will close over. So just bear that in mind if you come to do that. But what I wanted to do, I wanted to put a little sentiment along the bottom. So on my field note stamp, there's this the best memories never fade. So I thought that would look really nice on either the top or the bottom of the journaling spot. So I'm going to just ink it up really well. I missed some there. Good thing is if you use a stamping platform, you will get it stamped perfectly first time. Just going to push that down. Pull it off, and then you've got a nice little sentiment on there that will go on the bottom here, like that. And as per usual, I end up with black piece, like marks from the ink. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the top one on, I'll redo the bottom one, and hopefully I won't get mucky paws all over it. Wipe my hands. I'm just going to put that in front of my fan just to dry a bit. It's very hot here today, so we're in the middle of our second heat wave of the season. So I've got a tiny little fan that keeps me cool. You can see, little tiny one. It's got all paint over it, but it really works. So, and it's small enough just to leave on my desk. Okay, so put that in. I'm just going to put a bit more glue on that edge there. So it keeps coming up. Push that in. And close that over, and then that's your page done. Right, I think that's it for this page now. So I've then just paper pieced the page, the underneath that flap, just with the scrap paper that I've got, so that I didn't cut into any more paper. I think it's worked out quite well. Now I was toying with the idea of putting in a little pocket, but I didn't want to add any more bulk to this page, so I've left it very plain. And what I will do is just put in a 6x4 photo mat in there, so that the person that gets this will know that you can put some 6x4 photos in there. So then when you close that up, it does actually now close fully. And then on the inside of that, I've just put one 6x4 photo mat, which I've got to add my stamp in. And then you can just write on here what size photo you can put in. So I had somewhere, I had a nice pen. So I'm just going to put here a 6x4. And then that can go into your photo mat like so. As you can see, that's stamped really beautiful on the front there, so close it up. Right, so that's it for this video. I'm not going to attach it to my album just yet, because I want to work on page 8, and it's easier to do it where it's out of the book than if it is in. So thanks again for watching. Please subscribe to the channel and comment and like. I'm also on social medias. As always, all the links are in the description box down below, so please don't forget to check out that description box, because there's lots and lots of information in there. So until the next time, enjoy the rest of your day. Take care. Bye.